Hi everyone, this is Miss Penny with another of Miss Penny's favorite foods, and I want to introduce you to my grandmother, Mabel Clara Parks. This is my grandmother, the one that so many of my recipes and all of my cooking foundation came from. So Grandma, this is my family. Family, this is my grandma. And I am the short one in the front. I'm 3, and my sister Shirley is 4. And this is my grandma, Grandma Mabel. All right, we are doing one of her favorite recipes. She has always incorporated peaches wherever she could. And this peach 7-Up pound cake was one of our faves as well. So that's what we're going to cook today. And this is the ingredients. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But this is my grandma. All right, we'll be back in a second and we'll get started. Hi everybody. Okay, here we go with the 7-Up peach pound cake. All right. We have, first, we're going to cream 3 sticks of butter. And we're going to cream them for about, a minute. About 45 seconds at least. And then we're going to put in our sugar, which is 3 cups of sugar and 3 sticks of butter. So let's get this butter creaming. Okay, so you met my grandmother and me as 3 years old. My sister Shirley, we're the only 2. It's the only sibling I have, and we were raised by our grandmother. So that is her. Everything I've showed you, she's in there. She's definitely part of it. Okay, so we are going to add our 3 cups of sugar. 3 cups of sugar. Give it another second. So the recipe calls for 3 sticks of butter, 3 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour. That's a basic pound cake. To that we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. We are going to add 1/3 of a cup of fresh peaches that I have chopped and I've dried out a little bit. We're going to have a whole 7.5 ounce can of 7-Up and 5 eggs. That's the recipe. So let's add our sugar. This is a basic pound cake recipe. You use, in order to make this particular recipe what you want it to be, you can use what you have. We had peaches galore. I wish I had a picture of my grandmother's peach orchard. It was beautiful. And we had peaches, like I said, all year round. So she incorporated them in pancakes. She incorporated them in muffins. She incorporated them, of course, pies and cakes. So we had peaches for a lot of different things, but this was one that was a go-to peach 7-Up cake recipe. The 7-Up cake came up really in the 50s, and so it was a hot new thing to do. My grandmother loved to bake, so she tried the 7-Up cake because she loved 7-Up anyhow, and we had it ever since. So that's what this is. And we're going to add our 5 eggs, one at a time. Let me turn that off a second. As you can see, it's very fluffy and light. You'll know when it's time to add your eggs because it'll get pale yellow. It'll get a pale, soft yellow. All right. Peaches, eggs, one at a time. Well, 2 at a time. Oops. 3. 4. 5. All right, we'll let that go for a minute. And then we're going to incorporate our peaches at the last minute, or 2 tablespoons of orange zest at the last minute. We're also going to use a teaspoon of almond extract and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's your almond. This is your vanilla. You can hear the mixer change. The mixer changes. It changes. The sound of it changes. We're going to add our flour. That's nicely whipped. We'll add our flour a little at a time. Almost done with that. All right. Get all of that in there. All right, now my peaches, I chopped them, so I've got about 1/3 of a cup. And then, like I did with the rice pudding with the raisins or the craisins, I dust them in a little flour so that they stay buoyant and they won't sink to the bottom of your cake. They'll stay buoyant in the cake. So now we're going to add our peaches. Okay, the other reason why I dust the peaches with a little bit of flour, as you know, peaches have a lot of juice. And so I take a paper towel after I diced them, and I try to get a lot of the juice out of it, and then dusting it in flour helps get the rest of the juice out so that it doesn't change the chemistry of the batter with too much liquid. So some fruits you have to do that too. And peaches is one of those that make juice. So you have to compensate for that. Lastly, we're going to put our lemon zest in there, which is 2 tablespoons. Give that a quick mix. All right. Okay, so that is done. The last thing we're going to do, and this is a really important step, of course, is the 7-Up. This is how your batter looks. That's how it looks. So we're going to add the 7-Up next. Get all the way at the bottom, make sure everything got mixed. And it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. So now the 7-Up, 7.5 ounce, or if you have a regular size 12-ounce 7-Up, you're going to use 7.5 ounces, which is what this can is. Now this is interesting because you have to fold the 7-Up into the batter. You don't mix it in like you do the rest of the ingredients. You fold it in. You fold it in the batter. You do not beat it in the batter. Because the soda in the 7-Up is your leavening as well. That's the reason you don't put baking powder or baking soda in this recipe. That's what that can of 7-Up does. But you also want that fizz with that lift in your 7-Up cake. So you fold it in. You fold it in. After you fold it in, you put it in a greased and floured Bundt pan. You're going to bake it on 325 for an hour and 10 minutes. It may go to an hour and 15 minutes. Put a toothpick in at an hour and 10 minutes. And if it comes out clean, take it out right away. Let it set in the pan for 10 minutes before you flip it over into your cooling rack. Let it set in the pan for 10 minutes. 10 minutes is plenty. This changes the consistency, and you'll see when you do it. It changes the consistency of the batter. It goes from very, very, very stiff to a creamy, light stiff. It's still thick and stiff, but it's a different consistency because of the soda. All right, once you get that folded in, let's get this in the oven. If my grandmother was here, she would be so tickled that I'm sharing her recipes, and more importantly, that you enjoy them, that you like them. She was cooking for the pleasure of her family. She never thought in her wildest dreams that her recipes would be seen everywhere. I never thought either. But you never know what life brings you, and you never know the things that you learn as children would help you later. You just take for granted that you're cooking for your family. They love it because they love you. But it's a different thing when they're not your family and they love it too. That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different type of love. And believe you, I am very, very grateful for it because I don't take things for granted. You don't have to watch. You don't have to like it. You don't have to subscribe. But you do, and I thank you for that. Okay. This is going in the oven, 325 for an hour and 10 minutes. When it comes out and it cools, we'll go to the last step, which is the glaze. All right, tune in. Hey everybody, this is Miss Penny with one of Miss Penny's favorite things, and I'm introducing you to my grandma, the one who has made so many of these wonderful recipes. This is her peach 7-Up pound cake, and you can see the whole video on Miss Penny's favorite things, or Miss Penny's favorite foods. And this is my grandmother. This is Miss Mabel Clara Parks. And this is me, the shortest one, and my sister Shirley. I was 3, she was 4. And this is our beloved grandmother, Mabel Clara Parks. And now you have seen who she is, and you have seen a lot of her recipes with more to come. Be blessed. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Thanks. Bye-bye.